Patriarch Kirill on January 5th made a public statement asking for a ceasefire for 36 hours for the duration of Christmas celebration. Patriarch Kirill is the head of Russia's Eastern Orthodox Church, and he says many things, and usually people don't pay much attention to them. But this time, something extraordinary happened. Vladimir Putin reacted within a few hours to that statement, agreeing with a ceasefire and ordering Russian troops, Russian army, to execute a ceasefire starting noon of January 6th throughout midnight of January 7th for 36 hours, just as Patriarch Kirill demanded. Vladimir Putin suggested the Ukrainians do the same, and Ukrainians refused. The Ukrainian government, and basically all the Ukrainian people said no. They were backed by the United States, the EU, and Germany. For one simple reason. Around 5 million Ukrainians celebrated Christmas 2 weeks prior. Different style, the Western style, the Catholic Christian Church. There was no ceasefire from the Russian side. The rockets, the rain of rockets flew and bombarded Ukrainian cities, Ukrainian buildings, Ukrainian facilities, as they say in Russia. So there was no ceasefire. There were bombings on the Christmas, Ukrainian Christmas, Catholic Christmas. And they were bombings 6 days later on New Year celebration, which is a big deal both in Russia and in Ukraine. So it's very safe to say that Vladimir Putin and those responsible for making decisions to send rockets to Ukraine, to bombard Ukrainian cities, they actually stole Christmas from millions of Ukrainians. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you news, updates, current events happening, my thoughts, angles, and opinions on things in Russia. Usual Russia explained by the unusual Russian. And today I'm going to be talking about Christmas and how Vladimir Putin stole Christmas from the Ukrainians. Well, when I say Vladimir Putin, it's not just Vladimir Putin. It's a group of people. And that group includes everyone who actually has made all decisions about attacking Ukraine, about bombarding Ukraine, sending troops, and so forth. So it's them who stole Christmas. But, actually ceasefires are really good. I pray every single day. I invite you to the prayers at the end of every single stream since February 26th, and I will do so today. And the first thing I pray is our children, and the second is stop of the bloodshed in Ukraine. Ceasefire is the end of the bloodshed. So any ceasefire is great. Any bloodshed, break in the bloodshed is great. And actually, this was the very first one since February 24th, almost 11 months. The very first ceasefire. It's actually quite unbelievable. I hope it is followed by many more, and I hope it's followed by peace that finally will come to Ukraine. Now, this move, the ceasefire, 36-hour ceasefire for the Russian Christmas, actually, it clearly was a political move because of two reasons. First reason is how clumsy that move was executed. I mean, give me a break. You gotta do better than this. Usually, if something is proposed by a public figure and it's aimed at Vladimir Putin, it does not reach him immediately and he does not react immediately. It doesn't work that way. You see, it works absolutely different way. And Vladimir Putin, who makes decisions, he always makes sure that everyone knows about that, and it takes a long time, perhaps discussions. This was different. Public announcement by Patriarch Kirill, and all of a sudden, bada bang, bada boom, couple hours, Vladimir Putin orders the Russian troops to, do the ceasefire. I actually learned it while doing this live stream. It happened so unexpectedly and so fast. I literally learned it while streaming, live streaming a couple days ago. So, again, it doesn't happen in real life like that. And it smelled something was fishy. Something was staged, you know what I mean? And number two, if those people, the patriarch, the president, the generals, everyone responsible and everyone capable of making decisions, actually, who made decisions, if they cared about Christians celebrating Christmas, they would also do a ceasefire 2 weeks prior, January 6th. There are about 5 million Ukrainians who celebrate Christmas Western style, Catholic. They're Christians, but the church is different. They're Catholic. They're not Eastern Orthodox. And there are quite a few Eastern Orthodox. I think majority of Ukrainians are Eastern Orthodox, around 8 million people, but there's a huge, huge number who celebrated on the 25th. And what about them? What about them? Didn't they deserve a ceasefire? The Christian? Perhaps, this got me thinking, perhaps these people who make decisions, okay, the patriarch, the president, other people, perhaps they think that not all Christians created equal. Perhaps they think there's a difference between Eastern Orthodox and Catholics. Okay, I gotta think about this. I gotta investigate. What do I do? To me, the answer was pretty straightforward. I have a couple friends who know human hearts quite well and human brains quite well. One of my friends is a very famous heart surgeon in Ukraine. I studied in the USA with him about 25 years ago. He went on to pursue a medical career, and he's a very, very known heart surgeon, excellent one. So I called him up and I asked for his help. I asked if he could help me out with hearts. He said, sure. I called him, I said, look, as far as I understand, you have seen hearts in your life. How many have you seen? He got back saying, well, you know what, I see about a few hearts a day on average. Few hearts a day. I said, okay, and how do you see them? He said, very close, very up close and personal. I operate on hearts. I said, okay. I said, well, what kind of people do you get as patients? He said, all kinds of people. Thin, fat, young, old, healthy, not healthy, just all kinds of people. Heart is heart. It's a very, very unique thing, So among your patients, did you have Catholics and Eastern Orthodox Christians? He said, oh yes, many, plenty. Again, he's been operating on hearts for many, many years. I said, listen, if you saw hearts of Eastern Orthodox Christians and other Christians, Catholic Christians, perhaps there's a difference in hearts. He said, you know what, there's no difference. I said, well, think about that. Perhaps there's something written on the heart of Eastern Orthodox Christian and Catholic Christian. Perhaps let's say Catholic or, Eastern Greek Orthodox. He said, you know what, I know hearts very well. No, nothing like that. I said, perhaps there's a label somewhere, tiny micro label, just marks different Christians.